All right, turning now to a current event happening this Monday in Muscatine. The Muscatine Historic Preservation Commission recently received a grant to research Underground Railroad and anti-slavery activities in Muscatine and the surrounding areas. Now, this Monday, you're invited to learn more about the project. But today, we're getting a little bit of a preview to learn more about the project. Rebecca, you've been kind of involved in this. Tell us about what this project actually is.
Yes, thank you. This project is primarily a research project to identify stories and people connected with the Underground Railroad and anti-slavery activities in Muscatine and throughout Muscatine County, as well as try to find places associated with those activities and people. It started out with the Muscatine Historic Preservation Commission looking to apply for a grant for a project to combine with hosting the Preserve Iowa Summit in Muscatine next June. And this was the project that was selected among discussion with the commission and some other preservation partners in the community, such as the Friends of Muscatine Preservation and the Muscatine County Historic Preservation Commission.
So have you guys learned anything yet about Muscatine and the region's connection to the Underground Railroad, or is there like a starting point for places that you guys are going to start with that research?
Yes. So the project is really just kicking off with this public meeting on Monday at 6:30 at City Hall in Muscatine. There has been some research completed on Underground Railroad activities in Iowa through the Iowa Freedom Trail Project by the State Historical Society of Iowa and the State Historic Preservation Office over the last 20 years. As well, there has been some information that's been compiled by the National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom program. So through this information, we have descriptions of a couple incidents related to the Underground Railroad in Muscatine and Western Muscatine County, as well as names of people who were abolitionists or held anti-slavery views. So we will be using this information as a starting point for the research.
Gotcha. For people who are familiar with the Muscatine area, are there any places that exist right now that you guys kind of have as a starting point that you're going to be looking into that maybe have that connection?
There's rumors of different places that are connected to the Underground Railroad, and that's going to be kind of part of the project is to try to go back and document some of that information to determine if those rumors are true or if they're not.
What is kind of, the overall goal of this project and everything you guys are hoping to learn and maybe teach other people about?
Well, the goal of the project really is to get that history researched and documented and pulled together into a comprehensive report so that we have all that kind of activity and history associated with the Underground Railroad and anti-slavery activities throughout the county together in one place. If there are any of those places that are still standing, that have buildings that are standing, they could be evaluated for future listing on the National Register of Historic Places. More likely, we'll be identifying sites that would be potential places for interpretation through the National Underground Railroad Network for Freedom program.
Very cool. Why do you think it's so important to do this research and learn about all of our history like this?
Well, the Underground Railroad truly is an interesting aspect of our history that intrigues many people. Most people have some sort of impression or idea of what they believe the Underground Railroad is, as well as I already mentioned, a lot of rumors that exist about stations or agents. So a key part of this research is really focusing on that documentation of stories, using primary sources to really identify verifiable information. And that's very important to kind of cut through kind of the rumors and other sorts of stories that are out there to get at the crux of actually what was the history of Muscatine County. The early Underground Railroad research also focused a lot on the people who were assisting the freedom seekers, which were often white people and occasionally some African Americans. And there's been a shift in recent years to also focus on the enslaved people themselves who were actually the freedom seekers on the Underground Railroad to be able to tell the story about African American history as well.
Well, real quick, in the last few seconds I have you here, we did mention that people can attend Monday's meeting at 6:30 in the City Council chambers to learn more about the project, but you guys are also looking for some volunteers. So how can people get involved in the kind of work they'll be doing?
Yes, definitely plan to attend the meeting at 6:30 at City Hall in Muscatine. We'll be presenting some of the information that we've already collected about the Underground Railroad in Muscatine. So anyone who's just interested in hearing some of that information is welcome to come out. But we'll also be holding a volunteer training kind of at the end of that meeting or after the public portion of the meeting for anybody who's interested in helping assist with the research for the project. We'll be looking at volunteers, looking at some of those primary sources of information, census records, historic newspapers, local and county histories, and any other kinds of local archival sources to be able to work on further identifying those stories in that history of Muscatine and Muscatine County.
Really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys all learn. Rebecca, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
For you guys at home, all the details on Monday's meeting in Muscatine, you can head over to our website and click on the As Seen on TV tab.